Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. We're coming live to you on NBT, NBT World, and also welcoming our listeners listening on Radio FM 88. I'm Chalapansa Narula. It's Wednesday, October the 7th of 2015, and here are today's top stories. In today's Thailand Moves Forward, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has affirmed that Article 44 will not be used to seize the assets of those involved in the rice pledging scheme case. The Prime Minister said the case is now in the judicial process and that mechanisms to reclaim losses are currently in place. The process would abide by the law in order to create justice. He added that he personally had no intentions of prolonging his power, but that he was working to improve the country. In regards to the Hay situation in the south, the Prime Minister said related agencies have already been ordered to improve the situation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will also meet with Indonesian authorities on the issue. We'll take a look at that later in other news. But now moving on, the Prime Minister, who is also head of the National Council for Peace and Order, said he would like to give moral support to members of the new Charter Drafting Committee for sacrificing themselves for the country following the committee's first day of work. The Premier said that he did not discuss with CDC Chairman Kun Michai Ruchupan the National Strategic Reform and Reconciliation Commission or other clauses that would be included in the new draft charter. According to the newly appointed CDC Chairman, the committee will be going over all previous constitutions as well as the rejected draft charter in an effort to draft a new charter that will be able to move the country forward. The new draft charter will also aim to decrease inequality and differences. As for the setting up of the National Reform Steering Assembly, which consists of some previous members of the National Reform Council, he said the 200 members had been chosen based on their work track record. The National Legislative Assembly has delivered a congratulatory bouquet of flowers to the new Constitution Drafting Committee Chairman and vows to support the new committee in its work. NLA President Pornphet Vichitcholachai spoke after his meeting with the new CDC Chairman, Kun Michai Ruchupan, saying he confirmed with Kun Michai the NLA's readiness to support the CDC throughout the Constitution drafting process and to aid in gathering input from the public and dispersing information. Despite having only one NLA member in the Charter Drafting Committee, Mr. Pornphet said that the NLA will still be able to effectively coordinate with the CDC on the drafting process as well as the process of drafting organic laws. He also vowed to amend the interim charter to clearly state how a majority vote from the public is needed to approve the new constitution. The CDC held its first meeting to lay the framework of its drafting process and to discuss drawing on past constitutions to extract their strong points for incorporation into the new charter. However, the chairman of the new Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, is worried that the recently installed team may not have enough time to finish their task. Kun Michai Ruchupan said that it has not been decided which previous charters will be referred to when the new team starts working, as such an issue needs to be brought up for discussion among all members. He, however, has spoken of his concerns about the duration of time the CDC will have to work under the conditions stipulated in the amended 2014 Provisional Constitution, which was set at 180 days starting from the day the committee was formed. Under this term, the new CDC will have to complete the new draft by April 1st, 2016. Kun Michai said that the new team of charter drafters will have no more than 120 days left to work after Tuesday, considering that there are many weekends and public holidays along the way. According to him, the CDC may not have much time to work, but will try its best to complete the mission. Relevant ministries have been assigned by the Prime Minister to coordinate with neighbouring countries to end the haze crisis and also to come up with measures to mitigate drought next year. During the cabinet meeting, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha instructed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment to coordinate with each other in order to effectively deal with the current smoke haze situation in the south. As the problem is caused by wildfires in Indonesia, the authorities were told to seek talks with the country and other neighbors on possible solutions. Nonetheless, the Premier stressed that the adoption of various measures, such as forest conservation and prohibition of the slash and burn practice, needs to start from Thailand first. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Prayut has expressed concerns over the drought situation due to this year's less water than last year. He asked farmers for cooperation with the government on drought prevention. The Prime Minister said the Cabinet meeting discussed the problem of drought and water catchment areas. It found that many areas across the country were affected by the dry spell, and the amount of water stored throughout this year was lower than 2014. General Prayut stated further that the Cabinet discussed assistance for the affected farmers and urged them to cooperate with the government in order to help avoid allocation of state budget to assist them. He said he wanted the farmers to figure which crops to plant to cause the least damage. General Prayut also said other countries were keeping an eye on Thailand and instructed all ministries to explain the situation to them. In our next news, the Prime Minister has presented awards to the winners of the contest for students to show how well they could portray the demeanour of the real Thai. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha gave his speech to students who won the Thai Demeanour and Thai Language Reading and Listening Skills Award at the Government House. In his speech, the Prime Minister told all winners that winning a contest is always a pride for themselves and their families, as well as teachers and educational institutions, while reminding all to always stay proud of Thailand and everything that this country has to offer. He also stated that such a pride must not be skin deep, as it is not just about putting the palms together to perform a Y or being able to read and write the Thai language, but it is also about feeling it from the heart. Government spokesperson Major General Sansern Kaew disclosed that the Cabinet has resolved to cancel the 2010 Cabinet resolution that allowed the private sector to invest in the expanded route of the Blue Electric Railway project. The route was targeted for the Hua Lamphong, Bang Khae and Bang Sue, Tha Phra sections. The government spokesperson stated that the previous resolution focused on auctions that would allow the private sector to invest in the project, thereby pushing up the construction price. The Cabinet has resolved to enforce the 2013 Private Investment in State Undertakings Act instead, which is in accordance with the government's policy to focus on the benefits to the people while managing the budget efficiently. The Cabinet also approved a budget of about 11.15 billion baht as requested by the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives to help farmers who are facing difficulties from the dry spell. The Cabinet on Tuesday also approved 6 May and 18 July 2016 as extra public holidays to allow for long weekend breaks from the 5th till the 8th of May and 16th till the 20th of July 2016. Minister of Tourism and Sports Gopkar Wattanawarankul said the extra holidays were made to promote tourism within the country. Thursday, May 5th, 2016 is Coronation Day. Tuesday, 19 July 2016 is Asanha Bucha Day, while Wednesday, 20th July 2016 is the Buddhist Lent Day. With the extra holidays, next year's Coronation Day break is extended to 4 days and Asanha Bucha Day break 5 days. Ms. Gopkar added that the ministry would focus on promoting minor cities in 2016 in hope to persuade Thai and foreign tourists to spend more time traveling in each area. The ministry had set Thailand's tourism revenue targets for 2016 at 2.3 trillion baht and 2.5 trillion baht for 2017.
The Cabinet today approved a construction project for Betong Airport in Yala Province. 2 new public holidays for 2016 were also announced for the period of Coronation Day and the period between Asaha Bucha Day and Buddhist Lent Day. The dates are 6th of May and the 18th of July, respectively.
The Interior Ministry has invited a number of state agencies to discuss solutions for the flood problems in Bangkok. Interior Minister General Anuphong Phao-Jinda chaired a meeting to discuss an integrated collaborative plan to prevent and solve flood problems in Bangkok and adjacent provinces. The meeting was joined by Deputy Interior Minister Suthi Makbun and representatives from 28 agencies, including the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, and the Royal Thai Police. General Anupong said that Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has been worried about unresolved flooding in various areas across the capital and has ordered the cabinet that a meeting be set up to handle the discharge of floodwater during the downpour. He said that the Prime Minister has suggested the BMA to oversee such a process as efficiently as possible while working on the traffic management with a focus on the removal of broken down vehicles from the road during the flood as quickly as possible, particularly during rush hours. For the long-term plan, the Interior Minister said that the BMA would add more drainage systems around the city, install more water pumps, and deploy more officers to get rid of garbage, which could be blocking the discharge of flood water. The National Council for Peace and Order has announced it will divide its functions into two sections, consisting of maintaining security and facilitating orderly state administration. Army spokesperson Colonel Sirijan Ngathong revealed that the NCPO head, General Prayut Chan-o-cha, has approved the organization's restructuring in order to fully respond to the current situation. The NCPO will be divided into two divisions. One is to facilitate state administration, and second is to carry out national security measures. Both divisions will operate under the commander of the Royal Thai Army. The Army spokesperson added that the NCPO will be directing all sectors of the society to carry out policies that coincide with the NCPO's roadmap and to foster public understanding of the NCPO's actions. Director General of the Public Relations Department, Kun Aphinan Jantarangsi, has presided over an orientation for newly recruited personnel while urging them to take pride in their work and be responsible for the nation. The two-day orientation took place at the PRD headquarters on October 5th and 6th. It was attended by 39 new civil servants who came from both Bangkok and the provinces and specialized in 6 different fields. In his capacity as chair of the ceremony, Kun Aphinan led the presentation of shoulder marks to the incoming officials. In his speech to the newcomers, the PRD Director General pointed out that their acceptance into the civil service is considered a great beginning of their career. He encouraged all to be proud and to devote themselves to serving the nation and its people. In line with the PRD's policy, the staff were told to always keep in mind their responsibilities, disseminate accurate news and information to the public, have faith in themselves and the organization, and help develop the organization further. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll have a quick look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. When Newsline return, we'll take a look at ASEAN news, also the global news update. Stay with us.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 8th core value: maintaining discipline and respectfulness of the law and the elderly.
How could you do that to me? Stop it! Huh? Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore.
Just thought.
Enough. We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Indonesian ambassador to Thailand on Monday visited the northeastern province of Udon Thani to discuss investment opportunities and prepare for the advent of the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, later this year. Heading the Indonesian delegates was Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Indonesia and permanent representatives to United Nations ESCAP, His Excellency Lutfi Rauf. This was his first visit to the province. According to the ambassador, he recognizes the potential of business in the province in terms of investment, tourism, and trade. He is also interested in discussing possible cooperation with the province in the future, paving the way for the arrival of the AEC at the end of this year. Udon Thani is considered as an investment hub that links China, Laos, and Cambodia. It boasts solid land and air logistics systems. The province is also a major producer of tapioca, sugar, and rice. In a global news update, a Syrian political analyst has argued that Russia's recent airstrikes against Syrian opposition targets in Syria could bring about positive military and political outcomes for the Syrian government. Political analyst Tariq Al-Abed pointed out that the Russian airstrikes have achieved notable results since they started a week ago, as many terrorists have fled their positions. This has not only broken the deadlock in the Syrian situation, but also given the Syrian government forces some respite. He added that if the Syrian government could regain large swathes of territory, it would wield greater political power in the future. Analysts worry that although the Russian airstrikes may weaken extremist forces, they could also worsen divisions between Syrians, which would hinder their political reconciliation. Dramatic drone footage from Guatemala taken days after mud and rock engulfed the small town of Santa Catarina Peñola last week has emerged, revealing the extent of the devastation that killed more than 150 people. Earth movers and rescue workers trying to clear the mud, earth and debris that swallowed the El Cambre 2 neighborhood in Santa Catarina Peñola, which lies at the bottom of a deep ravine. At least 300 people are still unaccounted for, and no survivors have been found at the site. Rescue workers say the chances of finding anyone alive under the 120,000 tons of earth that buried the area are close to zero, but search teams vowed to keep up the search. Guatemala's government, which is in disarray after former President Otto Perez was forced to resign and was arrested on corruption charges last month, declared 3 days of mourning for those lost in the landslide. Rioting prisoners took over part of a Brazilian prison, taking hostages, breaking windows and setting mattresses on fire. The riot started in the morning, and by the afternoon, a large group of prisoners had climbed to the rooftop of the Londrina State Penitentiary in the southern Parana state. They were armed with what appeared to be knives and sticks. Many of them also appeared to be speaking on cellular phones. There have been no reports that anyone was thrown from the roof, and there were also no reports of deaths by early evening of Tuesday. At least 2 people were taken hostage, though it was not clear if the hostages were other prisoners or prison workers. Local news outlets aired images of one of the hostages being hog-tied and taken to the edge of the roof. The prison, which is designed to house 928 inmates, currently has 1,140 prisoners. Let's go to New York now. Thousands of people in New York formed a giant human peace sign as a tribute to John Lennon to mark what would have been his 75th birthday. The gathering was part of a coordinated attempt to set a Guinness World Record for the largest human peace sign. Upon seeing the large crowd, Yoko Ono told reporters she thought Lennon would have been very proud. The event was organized by the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus and Yoko Ono. Guinness World Record educator Philip Robertson said that if successful, it would have been the first record in the category. He explained it was an unofficial attempt because it would specifically require 5,801 people in a peace symbol for 5 minutes to set a new Guinness World Record. In 1980, the singer and peace activist was shot at the entrance to his New York apartment block and died of his injuries within minutes. But as people of all ages showed in Central Park, his spirit and ideals for peace carried on. DS car lovers were offered a free ride through the streets of Paris in the iconic Citroën car to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the model. 15 cars were parked at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, waiting for tourists and Parisians to take them on a test drive. 60 years ago, on October 6, 1955, the car was presented at the 42nd Motor Show in Paris, making the start of a legend. The French car became famous from the start for its aerodynamic and futuristic design and its hydraulic suspension, once key to its success. Combining a hydraulic pump with nitrogen-filled pneumatic spheres, the Citroën suspension system brought an almost unmatched level of motoring comfort in 1955 and contributed to the space-age mystique of the DS model launched that year. Julien Faure, who manages the Citroën showcase in Paris, said he wanted to show to the public the reasons why the car had become a myth and give them the opportunity to try them. Well, that's it for today's edition of Newsline. We thank all our viewers and listeners for spending part of your day with us. And if you do have any comments to make, well, the email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Also reminding you that we have our news website for you to check out the news on a daily basis, and that is thainews.prd.go.th/en. Today we end the program taking you to Ratchaburi province to enjoy adorable cat cuddling with a dog. How is that going to be? Let's take a look, but it's time for me to say goodbye now. Have a good day. Sawadee ka.